we need to shut down the 2023 elections?
Okay, Jane. Fellow countrymen, imagine a situation that you are sleeping, somebody taps you on the shoulder, wakes you up, say, hey, darling, I'm your husband, or I'm your wife. And you say, what? I don't know you. And he produces a document, says, we wedded in 1999. I'm your husband, or if you're a man, he says, I'm your wife. And henceforth, you do what I tell you to do. This constitution was not made by the indigenous peoples of Nigeria, okay? The military junta, first of all, there was a constitution that was written by two persons in 1978 under the military junta of the time, right? Then the military junta of the time of Obasanjo appointed a constituent assembly, okay? Appointed some people additionally to study that so-called 1978 constitution. When they studied it, they said, no. This is not a federal constitution. We want constitution that resembles what our forefathers agreed upon before 1960, when we had 4 regions. So they removed many things from that constitution that was prepared by two persons. And when they submitted their report back to the military council refused all those things they removed. They brought them back, and they used a decree to promulgate the constitution in 1979. Okay?
Seb, can I say something?
Right?
Please.
I would like you to touch on the 2023 elections and why it is very essential to shut it down. I think.
Okay.
Yes, I would like you to go there.
Yes. Now, every 4 years, we do federal elections. On which basis do we do the federal elections? The elections are done on the basis of this constitution, which is disputed. Okay? And after the elections, whoever wins, the president, the members of the House, the senators, what do? They swear an oath, placing their hands on the Quran or on the Bible and pronouncing that they will defend this constitution. Okay? So every 4 years, the life of this constitution is renewed through the federal elections. Today, we have understood, you and me, we have understood that this constitution is fraudulent. Now, do you want to renew the life of this constitution again? That is the question. Do you want to renew the life of this constitution for another 4 years? The answer is no. Because this constitution is the cause of all our woes. We want to go back to the drawing board and create people's constitution, a constitution that is autochthonous. It starts from the indigenous peoples. They have to create their constitutions again as before independence. And based on their own constitutions, they can now agree to federate anew, and how to federate, they will write a new constitution. So very important for our survival is that we put an end to this fraudulent 1999 Constitution. This is a matter of urgency, and this is a matter of civilized development. Any person telling you that you are doing something illegal, tell that person to go back to school. There are so many of us, engineers, lawyers, doctors, who are actually illiterate when it comes to awareness of our human development, societal development. Okay? Tell them we have woken up. We have realized that we have been living under a fraudulent constitution, and we want to put an end to that fraud. The way you have to put an end to that fraud is by stopping those who are going to swear oath of allegiance to that constitution, thereby renewing the life of that constitution for the next 4 years. And the next time this will happen is 2023. So you and me, we have got to stop it. We must stop 2023. If they tell you they are going to make your brother the president of Nigeria free of charge, tell them no, under this constitution, no, no. We are not going to boycott election 2023. That is a big mistake. You and me are going to stop the election. How are we going to stop this election? Let us think together. That's why we are here. How shall we stop this election? Who are the politicians? Who are the political parties? Who are they? Are they from the moon? They are from within our society, right? They come to do primaries where? Within our society, right? Are you going to allow them to continue that jamboree? Well, now that you have known that the cause of all our woes is this constitution, and that the life of this constitution gets renewed through federal elections, are you going to allow them to continue doing that thing?
Thank you very much, Seb.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Seb. Thank you. I think we hear you loud and clear. It's actually, I don't know how any public servant or public politician who professes to fight for the people that he represents would want to sign up to a constitution that oppresses the people that he says he's fighting for. I don't know, and I don't know a good explanation for it. So taking down the 1999 Constitution requires that we shut down further elections. Thank you very much. We hear that loud and clear. And anybody coming to you telling you they are going into 2023, ask them, under which constitution are you going to swear in? Because you're going to swear in. It's either yes to the 1999 Constitution or no. Is Adeoye
just continue
on in the interview the president of Nigeria held a few weeks ago, where he talked about the South, where he talked about dot in a circle and other things. I don't want to go into detail as to what into that particular interview at this point. But if you look at all the condemnation coming from every sector, coming from voices in the Middle Belt, voices in the Yoruba, that we give ourselves a hand for that.
Yes, Thomas is there. Thomas is from the Middle Belt, and he has been very outspoken about the Nina's message and bringing the youth into the program. So he's going to speak a little bit today about how he's going about doing that. He's also a pastor, so he's got quite a bit of experience in both those areas. Thomas, can you unmute?
You've got to unmute him.
I'm going to unmute. Okay, Thomas, unmute, please. And Akuche, Akuche, please I'll be calling upon you after Thomas. Is Thomas ready?
I'm trying to see if it is.
Thomas is still muted. I'm going to ask you again to unmute. Please unmute, Thomas.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will just share briefly with us what I've been doing and what I'm currently doing about engaging the youth and the entire people from the Middle Belt. Now, in the last couple of weeks, I have intensified my awareness and campaign on what NINAS is doing, especially to end this corruption, the constitutional corruption and the election that is coming. Now, I have discovered from my findings that already some political leaders who are vying for positions have started going from one place to another, especially in the villages in the Middle Belt around Adamawa and part of Borno. So I have strategically engaged the Khan in those zones, the Khan leaders. Now I am working with them, and they are also creating awareness to other pastors and church members in virtually every of the gatherings that are taking places right now. Part of what will form that gathering is the message from NINAS. And that has been done, and we're still working on that. And again, bringing the youth together from the Middle Belt. I'm engaging them on the social media, direct phone calls, interacting with them and telling them they need to join NINAS in fighting and bringing to an end this political 419 in Nigeria. So we have done that, and in fact, hopefully before the end of next week, we are going to extend our WhatsApp groups, because already we are almost reaching the maximum number WhatsApp can contain. So we plan to have group 1, group 2, 3 like that for Middle Belt. So these are basically things I am doing, engaging the youth in the Middle Belt to be part of this movement. Just yesterday, we formed another coalition group, particularly from the southern Borno, cut across 3 different local governments. So we have formed a group. We tagged the group actually with a name, different name, but our emphasis is NINA's message. And having got that, I am also engaging our people from the Middle Belt that are away from the country in diaspora. I have linked with a doctor who is a prominent person from the Middle Belt from southern Borno. And through him, he has also helped us to rebroadcast the message. And right now, as I'm talking to you, the message of NINAS has entered the nooks and cranny of the southern Borno and part of Adamawa, Jos, and southern Kaduna. So I'm working with leaders. The former retired Cochin president, the privilege I have as a pastor, has actually given me access to these people. So I give them the message, and they have also been faithful to communicating the same message of what NINAS is doing. So at the moment, most importantly, signing the online petition. Already, we have a database that has over 5,000 people right now. So in this coming week, I have volunteered and I also got some people to help me. We are going to do a massive signing of that petition online because already we have created a database from the Middle Belt. And we'll keep updating the database until we have every single person that has had the message to sign the petition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
I really applaud what you are doing. Taking the bull by the horn, taking responsibility for your space and reclaiming it for future generations.
Yes, sir.
The history books written 1,000 years from now will have some of your names in them. Future generations will celebrate what you are doing today because this is the single most effective thing that you can do. People,
yes, sir.
even though they are under bondage, you are the one that God has given the grace to understand what is at stake and how to solve that problem. And I am so happy and grateful that you stepped on it. And all glory and praise be to God. Thank you so very much for what you're doing.
Amen. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Oh, do we have Adedoyi here? If not, Akuche, Eze, are you here?
Akuche is here and she's unmuted now, I believe.
She's unmuted. Akuche, please tell us about Volley. Tell us about all of the great things you have done, you're doing. I see the interviews and I'm just excited about Akuche. Eze, please speak to us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Volley Media is the voice of Liberty International, and that is the voice of the Lower Niger, the ethnic nationalities within the Lower Niger blocks. So everyone represented here, all of us combined, Ninas, everyone, we are the voice of the Ninas Alliance. Now, this is very important. A lot of people might wonder, why do we need that? It's very important at the time like this, where you heard what Pastor Thomas just said, the mobilization that is going forth. Our people are looking for information, and we know that information is power. We do not want people to go out there and get information from, I apologize for that, a call was coming into my phone. We do not want people to go looking for information from other sources that could deter them, from our goal. Right? We know of a certain individual who has used this medium of information to reach out to so many people and giving them wrong and false narratives and information. That is why Volley Media is committed to bringing messages of hope, messages of trust, and messages of truth. At a time like this, where it is so critical in the steps that we're taking to getting our freedom from Nigeria, we need this time so that our people can come together, we can share information, and we can also support each other, because support is very, very important. When someone comes, what's this about? We have a question about this, and we need a platform where Indigenous nationalities will be free to speak. So this is what Volley Media represents, and this is what Volley Media stands for. So it is not an Akuche program. It's not a particular. It's for all of us. So as much as possible, please go and subscribe on the YouTube channel. It's called Volley Media. The YouTube channel. We have a few videos on there now. We are on Facebook, Volley Media. We are on Twitter. We just opened a Twitter page. We are on Instagram, because social media is such a powerful tool, and this is a tool that people. That's why the federal government is trying to shut social media down, because they know the power of social media. So that is Volley in a nutshell, and that is what we represent. We are part of the Ninas Alliance. We are the voice for the people. We are your voices. Just on a side note, I just wanted to quickly chip this in. I encourage every one of us, since the introduction of cell phones and internet and all and that and things like that, we have all become journalists in our own rights. We have all become, we're able to get information, disseminate information in a second. So I just wanted to encourage all of us that when you're online, doing your social media business, and you come across information or people that are asking, or you see someone like someone contesting, right? Someone from the alliance territories contesting for presidency or running for elections and all of that. We know now that we're stopping, we're not boycotting, but we're stopping 2023 elections, right? That is our main focus now. When you see things like that, please, I encourage you as a voice of the ethnic nationality, speak up. Use the power that you have. You have a lot of power in your hands. The power of social media. Tweet something about that. Say something on Instagram about that. Say something on leave a comment. Don't just look at it and pass, because you know what? If you're able to reach one person, that's all it takes. That one person can reach others, and then we keep going, right? So that's all it is in a nutshell. Thank you for bringing me on to explain that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Akuche Eze. Thank you very much.
I can make just one comment to what Akuche has said. We do have quite a few people that are on Twitter, but some of the things that is missing is being able to tag people when you send your messages. As with any social media, as Akuche is shaking her head now, whether it's Facebook, when you tag, you can directly send your message. So you can send your message to the UN, you can send the message to the ICC, to the senators, you can send that message to the presidents of the various countries, you can send it to all the major churches. So it's important for us to learn how to use social media. And I know Akuche is going to be helping us to put together some training on using Instagram, because she's got a large following there, and Instagram is fairly interactive. And we also have training on Twitter that we will be providing to everyone, so that you can actually learn how to do those types of things to get messages far and wide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen. Do we have Boye on the meeting? Boye to talk to us about outreach through blogging, podcasts, and radio.
I don't see him yet, but Honorable Ogaraku is on, so we can go to him while Boye and Adedoyin are trying to sign on. I'm talking to them, and they're trying to sign on. Okay,
Honorable Ogaraku, talk to us about using flyers effectively to main languages, including Pidgin English, the effective use of flyers. Honorable Ogaraku, please unmute.
I'm here, brother. I'm here. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you, everybody, and thank for this wonderful participation. We have 100 people online here, direct participation. That's great. I am happy what have been happening in the recent time, mostly starting from the western side of the alliance, and what is trying to pick up even in the end, and maybe trying to grow even in the middle belt, and then we hope after the slaughter in the southeast, we'll be able to have an opportunity to do the things that need to be done. Yes, before now, as you can see in most of our platforms, there are many ways we have been trying to reach our people. And also some people said, in fact, there was one of the issues that was placed, and one used monetization. And another person reacted, do you think people can be able to understand this word monetization, what it means? That's exactly trying to communicate effectively. You have to speak to the people with the language to understand. In fact, recently I saw a young man who interpreted the Bible in Pidgin English. And it is in online, I believe most of you may have seen it. And he said that Pidgin English is our language, is a language people will understand. That sometimes when you speak with them, the King James English and what do you call it, New Standard Version, or every attempt made to bring the Bible down, that maybe some people doesn't understand it. By the time you write it in a simple, common English, it doesn't make it to lose its substance. you try to even sometimes dramatize information to be able to get to the people. So yes, we've been reaching out, and this is exactly what we want everybody to do. Talk to the people with the language, in the environment, in the circumstance they will understand. We know there's places you may not even be able to have rally for certain circumstances. That's why I said maybe in the Southeast, after their murderous attempt program is over, we can be able to reach out. I know some of the things that are happening there is not only what I believe everything they see now that seems to work against or trying to push these ideas. I know it will be part of the things they're eliminating people for. So I know in the Southeast we are still low. I can understand. But in starting from the Western side, we are, and I want to thank Lady Uwache, what is her name? The producer, one of the presenter in the Volley TV, producing from Abuja, and making the message in the language people understand, the tune people understand, and the way people understand. So we're talking about flyers. What is flyers? Flyers is write-outs that can be given out to people to read or see images or see informations. Just like it is if you go to our Twitter handles, there are more there. And then many people who are following us in the Twitter handles effectively are following the informations, what we have done, what we are doing, what we are about to do. People need to be carried along, and the information need to be carried along, because for you to be able to communicate is when you are saying that somebody is understanding you. And for somebody to understand you, he has the right to ask you questions. No question is stupid, I must tell you, because everybody's understanding are not the same. So whenever you talk to somebody and they ask you a question, honestly, that simply means the person is paying attention. Please have patience to speak to that person. Respond to whatever. Don't look at any question as being stupid. So, but sometimes flyers speaks more than even oral questions, because maybe when you have flyers with images that explains things one after the other, that one will from time to time make reference to it. In fact, I remember the story in the past where one illiterate rich man, every day in the morning, he will buy a newspaper and then turn it upside down. And he will tell you, Zeke has said something today. And you ask him, what did the Zeke say? He said, take it and read. Okay? So the flyer does a lot of things. First of all, maybe somebody who is convinced about the program of NINAS, whether he has the literacy or the language to be able to say it. By the time he has a flyer, he will be telling you what he knows. And when you want to know more, he will give you that flyer. And then maybe you can read the flyer and even read better and understand even the issue better. I've been talking to people in the recent time, and whenever issue comes, I will try to give the lectures as we have it as much as I can be able to do. And at the end, the person will tell you, okay, give me something to read. What I know is that most of the people, when you send them our link that has the email addresses of all our links from the constitutional force majeure to NINAS to Freedom for Nigeria to Christian Life Matters to all, we have a link that has all the, most of them cannot read it. They don't even go back to read it. Go back to them in 2-3 days and say, have you gone through our documents? And what do you will say, okay, I believe you. Because he's no longer going to read there. I have heard you very well. But when he has this document backing it, even when he reads it or not, he thinks he has a point of reference in case somebody asks more about, in fact, he will do the same thing you may have done, and then to teach others. Then there are those people who are literate enough. When you send this type of document, they read more on it and understand. So the flyers are such instrument that will be a practical approach to our people. It should be better done in all the languages. We said we have 300 languages. And more importantly, within our territory of almost 70–80% of the population today, we have almost 200 of these 300 languages, if not more. So if we can have these flyers in these languages, but we know it has its own cost to go through these languages. So we go from the major ones, as the case may be today: English, Pidgin English, Igbo, Yoruba, and then different languages, Anam, Efik, BBO, Ijo, every language that is there, we go about it. And then it's also necessary to get somebody who knows the rudiment of a given language to be able to put it, because if it is in the language of my birth, they said among the Igbos, the art of conversation is regarded very highly. And the proverb are the palm oil with which Igbo was eaten. So once you speak our language and add a proverb, 2, 3 proverb, you have said more than what 10 pages will say. So we will try to get it to those languages and know how each language get to the people's rudiment, to their best of understanding. And even that's a dramatic, you can even present it dramatically, the way to make things easy to people to understand. So what we're trying to say now, these flyers are necessary, and we are working on them. A good number of them will be coming out by next week. And we expect everybody to be part of it. Even if you are here, be able to reach to your own people. Recently, we have all these programs that we want to use to engage our young adults. Because he said he can't ask, our people say, if you ask a child to go and get a smelling rat, I don't even know what it's called in English.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes. Thank you, Honorable.
Let me conclude. So whenever if you want to lead the child to get such a smelling animal, you must be able to give him water to wash his hand. So we want to also empower our youth. By the time they are empowered, they also learn what we are doing and support it because they are not hungry. However, the flyer is a very practical instrument to be able to reach to the people and then be a tangible instrument for them to be able to take the message along. Once again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I see. Thank you very much, Honorable Ogaraku. Boyin Oladoku, I see you. You ready for me?
Sure. Good evening. I'm here. I'm ready.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm very great. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes.
Talk to us about podcasts, blog outreach through blogging, podcasts, radio.
Sorry, Johnny, she's actually, this is not Boye, this is Adedoyin. She's actually going to be talking about the circle of influence.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, go ahead, please.
Good evening once again. My name is Adeboyin Oladoko. I will be talking to us, we'll be interacting on the topic circle of influences. When I say it's not an influence, but circle of influences, which implies that there are different circles we all belong to. You have your circle of influence, I have my circle of influence. And for us to reach the pinnacle of our dream in NINAS, we need to do active mobilization through our circle of influences. So the first circle I'm going to be talking about is the political circle. And from my experience as having contested in the last election as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2019, I came third out of the 17 contestants. I can tell you what are the possible approach we put in place to ensure that we have a seamless group or a system that is sustainable. The first thing I want to talk about is that every state has at least about 33 local governments. So we'll take the bull by the horn by appointing local government chairman for the group in each of the locations, in each of the states. From the local government, we have what we call the ward chairman. So we have up to about 10 to, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's about 10 to 12 words per local government. And then under the words, we have the units. So we have the unit leader in each of the words representing our interests. The unit leaders are directly responsible. They are directly responsible to the grassroots. The unit leader reports directly to the ward chairman, and the ward chairman invariably reports to the local government chairman. The local government chairman also reports to the state chairman. So this is the structure we put in place, which made it so possible for us. If I say now that, okay, I'll need about 5,000 people to meet me in a particular place within a particular time, as long as I can provide the finances in terms of the transport and other logistics with feeding, they will surely make themselves available for that. So we need political structure in a way that will help our mobilization and that will assist us to get to the grassroots. It is noteworthy that some of the people we are going to be using are not even on the net at all. A number of them they cannot speak any other language but their local language. Some of them could not even speak Pidgin we are talking about. They will prefer us to address them in our local dialects. So it is important that each of us must learn how to communicate effectively to our people in our local dialects, wherever we are representing, whether we are from any region, we should be ready to speak our local dialect so that we can cascade the message to the grassroots. So I haven't talked about the political structure. The last structure is the unit, which made it so easy for you to gather a number of houses together and then they form the unit. That's the last group that I've spoken about. That's the first structure is the political structure. Now, the second structure that we are looking at for proper and effective mobilization, we're talking about finance mobilization. The finance mobilization. So we are talking about how to mobilize finance. With God, nothing shall be impossible, but we need to understand that each of us have our circle of influence. For example, I was once a managing director of an organization, and in that circle, the people below the line, they happen to be people that will be willing, anything coming from you, they want to hear you. So we can use our circle of influence in raising finance. Or for example, there are people we have met with Christians who are not willing to come out into the open, but they want to support you secretly. They are just like secret disciples. They can be Imam, they can be Muslims too, who are willing to support you, but they cannot come out boldly, but they want to give out their money to supporting what this belief of ours, to supporting Ninas or to supporting our, going against this constitutional fraud that has been on ground for a while. So for me, the second step we need to consider is finance is very sacrosanct if we must move forward. And a tree cannot make a forest. We cannot say, okay, the person whom God has given this vision to will certainly be the one that will be responsible for the finance of this work that is on ground. This work is a vision from God, I believe. And I believe that if we are united together, we'll be able to achieve a lot. Now, in financial aspect of it, we can start sending our team leaders to go and meet. Okay, for example, in Yoruba land, when you get to a particular level, you tend to be known. A number of people will know you. So you share the vision of Ninas in a teamwork, maybe about 7 or 10 people coming together, and you will tell, do you know so and person, so person? I know this person. I know this person. Let's put it down in writing. Then we're going to be visiting them in their respective offices, speaking to them about what we stand for, and then convincing them so that they can also be a part of the move by giving their quotas into what we are about to do. Now, without money, mobilization will be very, very difficult for us. I spent a lot in the last election. This is not bribe. I'm not talking of bribe this time around. These are people, when you go to mobilize them in different locations, they will tell you that I have not eaten since morning. They will tell you that my child is sick. I needed to pay for the child's medical. I need to pay for the medical costs. And some people will say, I have not eaten since yesterday. And then you cannot hear such, and you just tell them, come and hear what I have to offer you. They won't listen to you. The first thing is that they will want you to fix their problem. And until you fix their problem, any other thing you're telling them, they aren't willing to listen. So for a whole 1 year, I was going to villages, I was going to cities, I was going to places, spending hundreds of, we spent a whole lot. Not that all this many 100% came from me, but people believe in one part-time also supported the process. Now, this is how to raise finance for each of, for this noble work. And then the last thing I want to be talking about is not just raising finance, but we have our circle of influence, our peer influence as we are growing up. For example, there are whole school associations. Some people belong to some boys high school, low school, and then some people belong to secondary school. They belong to some group. Some people in the university, they belong to a group. And then we can approach also this peer group of ours as we are growing for either understanding and bringing them to the limelight of Ninas or contributing to the success of this whole process financially. So this is also another step we can take. The last one is the religious circle that I want to be talking about. Some of us, like I said, we are pastors, we are imams, we belong to a community, we belong to a church, we belong to a group. We can
Excuse me, Boyin. Sorry, Boyin. We do have Joseph Carey that's going to talk about the church. So if you could round up, please, that would be awesome. Because we do have Joseph Carey that's going to be talking about the religion.
That's all right. If somebody will be talking about the religion, there's no point repeating that. That person will come up to talk about it. But I haven't mentioned all these things, the political cycle, the now to raise finances, and then through the peer influence, through our group. I think by now I will stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you. And I just a point. I want to listening to our sister speak tells me something. It gives me joy and hope. What it tells me is this is how you know those involved in politics who are actually there for the people. She tried to be a senator, right? Now, if you saw her standing with others, you would think, well, these are all politicians. But what you have seen her do now, what she is doing, tells you that this is someone who wants the best for other people. This is somebody in the political terrain. And I tell a lot of people, politicians, and I tell them what Ninas is doing is not destroying politics. Whatever emerges out of what NINAS is doing. The sovereignty, the nation or nations or whatever is going to come out of NINAS through referendum is going to be a democratic system. And that democratic system is going to need people in politics. What we are doing is changing the platform upon which that politics is played. Because right now it is a fraudulent platform. It's just like playing soccer in a field that is corrupt, in a field that is not level. You are expecting the ball to bounce here, it bounces and it goes another direction. That is the platform upon which our politics is played today. When we correct the core problem, the constitutional framework, and sit our nation on, our nations on the platform that it can sustain development, progress, civilization, you will see really good leaders emerge. They are out there, but they can't function in this current environment because it is not conducive for good governance and good politics. Thank you very much, our sister Boyin Oladoku. Thank you. And so many people have been—
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Yes, thank you. So many people have been reaching out to us, talking about they can't get into the meeting. And the limit is 100 on this Zoom platform today. So many people are trying to get in and they can't. And we are going to try to expand it for future meetings. But if you cannot come into the Zoom meeting, please join through, go to Njenje Media and watch it live. We would love to hear you. I regret that many of you cannot join, but the 100 number that Honorable Ogarako mentioned is actually the limit. We actually got to that limit today, to that threshold today. And is Pastor Kerry there? I would like to unmute you so we can—
We have
okay, yes.
Pastor Kerry and we have Boye. Boye is on.
Okay, is Boye on? Okay, so let's go to Boye. Boye, we were trying to reach you earlier. Of course, you know technology and networks in Nigeria.
He couldn't get on because of the limit. Somebody dropped off, so he jumped in right away.
He's able to come in. Okay.
Yeah, same thing with Boeing too.
Okay.
We had to sneak them in.
So if you can't get in, just keep trying. Somebody will, network could sabotage someone, which is regrettable, and then you can come in.
Okay, we do have Joseph is unmuted while I find where Boye is.
Okay, Joseph Kiari, Pastor.
All right, thank you very much, Johnny, and thank you, Jen, and thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to talk about the role of the church. The church is actually a very important organ in our society, and it's quite vital to achieving the goals of NINAS, in the sense that if you look at what is happening every year, every cycle of an election, politicians actually go from church to church to canvass for votes, to canvass for support. And they use the church as a springboard, rightly or wrongly. And even the previous election, we can see that there had to be an alliance with I'm not going to mention the church, but a massive church that has the largest followership in Nigeria and probably worldwide, to be able to gain the vote of the church. And so as a pastor, what the strategy is to start at the local assembly and educate the people about the fraudulent constitution and the need to stop the elections 2023, because already we can hear and see that the politicians are going about already starting to reach the circle. So the local assembly is very important. But also, we need to stretch our tentacles to different bodies and organizations. For example, I am privileged to lead an apostolic and prophetic network meetings, and many of the members are Nigerian pastors. And other bodies, we have like a global prayer network, and many of the pastors are Nigerians, and there are other churches. So what we do is to send the message to the pastors, because the pastors have large influence on their membership, and they also have access to the network within their own local assembly or within their own, what you may call denomination or a body. So it's very important to educate the pastor, because my understanding is that some pastors are skeptical, some skepticism. There's also ignorance in the church a lot. And that's also what we call a crowd followership or bandwagon effect. Because, for example, if my pastor is a senator, for example, from a particular church, so the tendency is that the pastors of that church would tend to believe everything they hear from that pastor about what is happening in Nigeria, and that the constitution should remain as it is. And for example, one of the experiences I've had is that whilst we talk about the fraudulent election constitutions, some pastors think as pastors we don't need to do advocacy, we don't need to speak against evil in the society. But it's actually our responsibilities as pastors, so educating the pastors to look at what the apostles did, what even Jesus did. He challenged the authority of the day about the hypocrisy. So this constitution is hypocritical. It's a gagging. It's enslavement, and the Lord does not want enslavement. He wants us to be free. So, and the nations is at its place, and the only way Ninas has that solution. So, as a pastor, my responsibility, and I'm sure there are quite a few pastors on this platform, we need to educate. The pastors have the right for advocacy, right to educate the people, to mobilize, to do grassroots support in our meetings, in conferences, and talk about it without any fear or favor, without thinking they're being political. I mean, political correctness should stop in church. I tell people, Jesus was not politically correct. The apostles were not politically correct. The prophets of old, the true prophets, are not politically correct people. So we should stop being politically correct and say this constitution is fraudulent. The election should not happen. There's a tendency that the principles or the goals or the strategies of Ninas will be achieved. So that's what I would say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit more to that, because everyone here is a vehicle for this message, right? Whether you are part of the church, right? Your church, you've got a pastor in your church,